men behind the three pacemakers. I think Kipchumba fancies this, you know. He's right up there behind the three pace setters. Evans Chebet just looking around, fastest man in the world last year, 7th fastest in history. We haven't mentioned Mosinet Geremiu, Mara. He was just off the podium in London last year. He's the 4th fastest in history with 2:05.55, second in London a couple of years ago, not too far behind Eliud Kipchoge. And he's quietly making his progress through this group, and he can't be discounted. He knows the course.
Definitely.
He's run brilliant times at the marathon and the half.
Yeah, silver medalist.
It.
Yeah, silver medalist at the Doha World Championships. He's a good racer. I mean, he's one of many who could be right up there. You know, with Kipchoge absent today, you know, and the depth in the men's marathon at the elite level, many of these men could win. And I think I get the sense that Geremiu really is quite fearless. He's been a bit under the radar as well, because you know, finishing second to Kipchoge in London.
Yeah, there's certainly an opportunity here for one of these world-class men to really make a name for themselves on the global stage. Yes, okay, we haven't got a Kipchoge, we haven't got a Kenenisa Bekele, but look, when you assess the quality of the lineup, it's absolutely phenomenal. 3rd, 4th, joint 5th fastest in history, with 7th as well. We've got 2 of the 3 men who appeared on the podium last year, with Kipchumba, who was 2nd, and Cisse Lemma is still in that group, just 2nd from the right-hand side. And a mark of how warm it is, Mara, even Lemma has discarded his trademark beanie.
Yeah, well, it was about 10, 11 degrees at the start. I mean, really ideal conditions. You can see from the trees there, not much wind. The forecast yesterday was for quite strong wind, but seems to have changed. So, yeah, lots of this group looking pretty comfortable.
Meanwhile, the defending champion, Shura Kitata, continuing to plough on alone off the back of this group. He's not running badly, because the leaders are at low 203s, maybe high 202s. So Kitata still determined to carry on, and maybe from his perspective, if his body loosens up a little bit, it's unlikely, but if his body loosens up a little bit and he starts to feel a little bit better, maybe he can pick off 1 or 2 of that group of 6 if they start to get tired. But at the moment, he is absolutely in distance running no man's land. But all credit to him for continuing this race. One of the greatest cities in the world. Fabulous place to come for a weekend break. Fabulous place to come and run the world-class marathon. Now, for the first time, and not surprisingly, with nearly an hour and a half of running done, we've got some breakup in this lead group. Salpeter and Chip Kosgei both running well. Kosgei still there, just behind Chip Kosgei, a compatriot.
Through 25k, Rob, they were on for a finish time of around 2:17.14. So I think they've picked it up a little bit.
This is really good running by this lead group, Mara. We hoped it might be fast, with 9 entered in this who've run inside 2:20. But when you start getting down to 2:17 territory, there's only 2 who've ever done that before. Brigid Kosgei with the world record, and Salpeter in the pale blue, who ran 2:17.45 in Tokyo last year. So now, anybody still in touch other than Salpeter and Kosgei, they're in uncharted territory if they can keep this going.
Yes, that's right. I think from now we're going to see more drop-offs off this lead group. This is what often happens in the second half. The leaders will throw in surges, and that will get rid of, you know, the ones at the back of that group. A bit further down the field, we've got Kenya and Ethiopia dominating the top 12, but Charlotte Purdue, meanwhile, is now on a finish time of 2:23.07.
Oh!
So I have to start worrying now.
Well,
closely followed by Sinead Diver on course for 2:25 or so. Brilliant running from the Australian 44-year-old. Rose Harvey, 2:27.17. She's the second Brit so far, and running with Samantha Harrison. So,
well, we'll keep a close eye on the elite women's race, and Mariana Uchi's place as second fastest British woman in history. Meanwhile, one of Switzerland's finest wheelchair racers, male or female, one of Switzerland's finest athletes, full stop, Manuela Schär, heading towards another fantastic victory. Brilliant in Berlin. She has been sensational in London, and it has been one-way traffic, every bit as impressive as Marcel Hoog's victory. She had Tatiana McFadden for company, but only for the first few kilometres, and she's beaten some of the very best male wheelchair racers in the world. This is a sensational performance. Almost lost her chair when she got home from Berlin before coming here to London. It arrived just in the nick of time. Winner of London in 2017 and 19, and she'll be the winner here again in 2021. Manuela Schär, just like Marcel Hoog, is hitting a vein of form that is proving absolutely irresistible and unbeatable. Still pushing, still driving for the line, trying to save every single second she can, and trying to savour every second of yet another major triumph. 1 week in Germany, 1 week in Britain. Schär is on top of the world once again here at the London Marathon. A great smile and a great victory.
yeah, she looks absolutely thrilled, and Boston on the menu for her next, so she doesn't have much time to recover. But what a brilliant victory for Manuela Schär of Switzerland.
Oh, and a nice touch of respect there from Marcel Hoog. Double delight for the Swiss, as it was a week ago. She almost looks embarrassed, doesn't she? That was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely incredible performance. She had something like a 5-minute lead through 40k.
Now the race proper truly begins as far as the elite women are concerned. We are down to just 5, and this, Mara, is fast.
Yeah, absolutely, and they look comfortable, don't they? I mean, Koskai is there. Salpeter really looks like she's attacking this. Yeah, they all look very comfortable. I think the two Ethiopians at the back of that group are Ashete Bekere and Zaineba Yima. Yeah, Bekere is there. Sorry, no, I think it was Azimero and Bekere. Yes, I think that's right. Yep, so group of 5 now leading this elite women's race. They were on course for 2:17.14 through 25k. So we'll see if they've sped up when they pass through 30k. But this now into the business end of this race. Of course, the first half always much easier than the second half. The second half is where the racing really gets underway. Koskai, the defending champion, of course, going for her 3rd consecutive title.
Just having a little look over her shoulder there, Koskai, and she will be aware 2 very good Ethiopians are still in touch. And we haven't mentioned much about Ashete Bekere. 21 marathons, Bekere, 12 times she's been on the podium. She's had great performances in Rotterdam, 2:22, Berlin, 2:20. Those are her 2 best wins of her 6. But she would be on course for a massive PB if she manages to keep this going. And what about the fresh legs of Chepkosgei? The fastest in the field on paper who didn't run in Tokyo, and she now is the one imperceptibly setting the pace here with Salpeter just, well, she's alongside her, but I just get the feeling Chepkosgei is the one setting the agenda at the moment in terms of the pace.
She looks very relaxed, doesn't she? Whereas Salpeter looks like she's working hard. I mean, Salpeter's really taken this race on, and she's been working up at the front all along. The Kere 4th last year here in London.
Five at the front of the able-bodied elite. Huge amount of support around and just across Tower Bridge. It's a moment that long lives in your memory if you are a club runner or fun runner. Every time you run over Tower Bridge in the London Marathon, you just feel like $1 million. All you can hear is noise coming at you from both sides of the bridge, plus the fact that it's just such an iconic landmark in its own right, even if there was no one standing there. Very, very special time in the race. And of course, when you've had that adrenaline moment, you suddenly think, oh, okay, right, I'm into the business part now, because I'm 13 down and 13 to go.
Through halfway, Rob, the elite men were through in 1:01.25, bringing them home in a finish time somewhere in the region of 2:02.50. So not far outside that 2:02.37 course record, which Lagesse said he was going after. And a little bit down the field, debutant Phil Sessman of Leeds City is the top Brit at the moment in 8th place, on for 2:10.22 at the moment. So Kitata, the defending champion, still going through halfway, some 1 minute 34 seconds behind the leaders. And all the other athletes we were expecting to be in that lead group still there.
And there is Kitata, all credit to him for carrying on. This would be a great performance if he does get himself to the end of the race and in a half decent time, because he could easily already have dropped out, easily.
Rob, Kitata is on course for a sub 2:06. So defending champion looks like he's not having a good day, but he's still running a truly world-class marathon.
Meanwhile, the leaders, Lemmer, just about hanging on to that group. We've had an interesting fact come in from those watching in Kenya. Titus Ikiru, the tall figure in the orange, just obscured by the pacemaker. I didn't know this. He is from the Turkana County in Kenya. Most of the Kenyan athletes come from the Rift Valley, places like Kaptagat, Kapsabet and Eldoret and so on. But Ikiru is from Turkana. The biggest names to emerge from Turkana as far as Kenyan distance running and track running is concerned, a certain Paul Ireng, Olympic 800-metre champion in 1988. So Ikiru producing a special performance here, and he is the fastest man in the world this year after that excellent run in Milan when he tied Dennis Kimetto, what was Dennis Kimetto's old world record, and he set in Berlin back in something like 14, I think, 2:02.57. And he's having a little look over his shoulder just towards the tall figure of Kipchumba. Good running from the Kenyans here. Ikiru, in fact, just deciding he's looking around as if he wants to increase the pace a little bit. Chebet still there, Kipchumba also in contention, but don't forget about the trio of brilliant Ethiopians. Lagesse, the third fastest in history, Gedemu, who was second in London behind Kipchoge 2 years ago, and Cisse Lemmer, who was third last year.
So the women, Rob, through 30k were on course for a finish time of 2:17.06, some 5 seconds outside the women's only world record. So we were told they weren't going for it, but they're very, very close.
This is really exciting, Mara. Very, very close to what would be an iconic moment in distance running sport. Wow. It's possible, isn't it? It is absolutely possible.
Yeah, they went through halfway in 1:08.51, and we can expect them to run the second half considerably faster. So I think that women's only world record is definitely in danger, but still a group of 5, and all of them looking pretty relaxed. Meanwhile, a bit further down the field, Jameli of Kenya in 6th place. She's 17 seconds off this lead group. Yima of Ethiopia 30 seconds behind, running with Joan Melly of Kenya. And then Girma of Ethiopia another minute or so, along with Dereje. So still very competitive. And down in 12th place is Magertu of Ethiopia. She's on course for a 2:21.44 in 12th place. So pretty phenomenal depth.
Staggering strength and depth, Mara, if, and it is a big if, they can keep it going. And certainly, you have to say, Salpeter and Kosgei, they don't seem, it's impossible to know what's going on in an athlete's head, they don't seem to be suffering any fatigue in the legs hanging over from Tokyo. They seem, their body language looks as comfortable as the others in the race who didn't go to the Olympic Games. It's good running from all 5 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the stage of the race where, you know, they will really start to suffer. And I think if Kosgei was fairly up front, she said she hasn't really fully recovered from the Olympics. I think from now on is where we may possibly see her start to drop off. But as you say, looks very comfortable at the moment.
Jeb Kosgei leading. The World Half Marathon silver medalist from a couple of years ago. Salpeter, European 10,000 metre champion, lest we forget. The former Kenyan, married to an Israeli. That's why she's the European champion. Great track runner in her day. Brigid Kosgei, the defending reigning champion, the world record holder, going for a hat-trick. Takitu Asmaro, who has run only 2 marathons, both of which she completed in 2:19. And Ashete Bekele, who's won Rotterdam and won Berlin and run 21 marathons in total. She's still in touch. Great CVs from all 5.